You've seen for loops in a couple times now in Snap and in a first Python program, but let's talk a little more about the features of a for loop. So it starts like this. You have for, the word for, a variable. In this case, I use I. And then this range will return numbers, and this will loop through 4 times. And let's see what's going on by actually printing the value of the variable I. So this will print 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Wrong. Python, like most programming languages, starts counting at 0. So range the first time around I is 0, and it goes up to 3. It's still 4 numbers, but it goes from 0 to 3. So always try to remember that this number right here will not be printed, will not be generated by the range function. So let's do a couple other features of range. First of all, you don't have to print the variable. You don't have to use the variable I at all. For example, if I want to just print the word Python 4 times, I can just ignore the variable I and just print Python. Another thing is that you can do functions of I. So let's say I squared. So the double asterisk means squared. You might be used to seeing the caret, but that's reserved for a different function. So double asterisk is squared. So now this would be 0 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared, and 3 squared. So up to 9. There you go. You can print 2 things at once. So I will print, let me make it look a little bit nicer. So if you put something in quotes and then you separate by comma, then it'll print the word squares and then print the values. Okay, and just for the heck of it, let's make it do lots of them. Okay, so there's a first 40 perfect squares if you count 0. Okay, so let's talk about other things we can do. Let's say you wanted to only have the square numbers that you want to memorize, and you memorized up to 12 squared. So you need to remember 13 up to 20 squared. Then I should put 21 there, shouldn't I? And so you can have a starting range and a starting value and a stopping value. But again, it doesn't hit the stopping value. So this should have 13 squared, which is 169, all the way up to 20 squared, even though I put the number 21 there. Okay, let's just make this simple again, just by printing I. So if I do this, it's just numbers 13 through 20. But let's skip every other one and have just the odd numbers. So I'm going to put this step right here that I'll start with 13, but then I'll add 2 to it. So it'll be 15. Then I'll add 2 to that, and it'll be 17. So it's just going to have every other number. Or you can have every third number. This is just adding 3 every time, and it stops before it reaches the last value that it can print. So it never shows the 21. Okay, and then how about printing numbers backwards? Let's say from 10 down to 2. And guess what I should do? To go backwards, yes, I should have -1 there, so it will add -1 every time. Wait a minute, if I wanted to print 10 down to 2, this won't work, will it? Look at that. This stops at 3. Once again, it won't hit the last number. So if I wanted 10 down to 2, I better put a 1 there, so now I'll go 10 down to 2. Okay, those are some wonderful features of the very useful for loop.